second. The origins of the children of the sun, number 1. The ancestors of the sub-society that would eventually be known as the Children of the Sun came to this land shortly after the settling of Haran. Arriving in the early mid-13th century, there is no linguistic proof of their existence in this territory. Due to lacking a written alphabet and subsequently an almost total language assimilation prior to this period, which makes pinpointing the exact roots of their tribe in time problematic. So they're saying essentially they came over and assimilated the language, so the true origin of the Children of the Sun is unknown. That religion, basically they're telling you it's as old as time itself, this religion. That's what they're saying. They cannot trace the people who brought this religion to this island. They assimilated into the culture. If you know anything about occult history, you know what they're throwing at you right here. I'll clue you in. It's right out of Babylon. It's Babylonian mysticism, people. It's got many different names, but that's what it is. That mother goddess right there, Inanna Ishtar. You eat ham on Easter, Ishtar, Easter. You eat ham on Easter in honor of her because a wild boar, gored her son, which means it killed him with its tusks. And her son was supposed to be the embodiment of Ra. And that's a long story we're not going to get into. If in Egyptian culture, she's Isis and her son is Osiris. The embodiment of, or her son is Horus, the embodiment of Osiris. A born god. Blah, blah, blah. We're moving on. I'm not going to bore you with that shit, but just so you know where it comes from, that's where it's from. It's as old as the dawn of man. Almost. Make sure that all my blathering about, I didn't miss anything in here. I would have thought they kind of missed an opportunity there. Maybe Kyle picks up more than just that note in here, you know? Anyways, yeah, obviously this guy is, and you see this right here, you see how that's kind of a chubby woman? That's actually, Göbekli Tepe. They worship the divine feminine, and she's always portrayed as a chubby mother-looking figure. If you see a fat woman like idol or anything, if you go dating back thousands of years, that's what that is. That's Mother Goddess worship. Like the Celtic, you always see like the triple things with the triquetra or whatever they call it. In Celtic stuff, it represents the triple goddess. The Virgin Mother, right there. The Virgin Mother and, what is it? I can't remember exactly. The Virgin Mother, and then she becomes the counselor to the wise warrior. Oh, the Virgin Mother, or the Virgin Woman becomes the mother, becomes the counselor to the wise warrior, meaning that she'll counsel her son. Her son God will receive wise counsel from her later. The triple goddess, her three roles. First she's a virgin, then she's a mother, and then she's counselor to the wise warrior. That's what that triquetra in Celtic religion stands for. You're looking at it right now, Dina. That's it. So that's how old this is. All right, let's see what they got to say this time. So here we have a tiny community, perhaps as small as a single tribe, which occupied these lands near modern-day Haran. Originally a nomadic tribe of hunter-gatherers, it is my theory that they discovered land so fertile that it made more sense for them to remain here and plant crops. Their migratory patterns, which may have existed for centuries prior to their discovery of this region, came to an abrupt end as their society began to redefine itself. So they're saying that they used to migrate and they were nomads, and that changed. They found this land and they stayed here. That encapsulates what he just wrote there. They decided to stay here. And they're nomadic tribes because everywhere they go, they start up their cult stuff, and then they end up supplanting whoever was in charge, you know, the oligarchy of the time or whatever, any established power structure, they infiltrate. It's called, we call it in contemporary times, Fabian socialism, which means we get inside of politics and change it from the inside out to get our desired result. That's what these people were doing, only it's a religion. It's a religion doing it, which you'll find out that actually the cult roots of all socialism, communism, and even capitalism, all of it, every ism, so to speak, it's all there's a control structure in place from an old religious sect. It's in every culture. There are no exceptions. Function of the mother. From generation to generation, the spiritual guide of the children of the sun was the mother. It's a title passed down from mother to daughter in a single bloodline. From what I was able to determine, during their hunter-gatherer era, the mother was some sort of shaman. By self-inducing a trance of sorts, she was able to direct a tribe to new hunting grounds. Every family in the tribe willingly relocated to the places dictated by the mother's visions. I'm not sure if the tribe had a chief or a head man, but it may not have mattered, as the mother was surely the leader and the one who steered their development into what she believed to be the right direction. That's what I was telling you when I was talking about that chubby, that fat, that big woman. That's mother goddess worship. That's what it externalized into, or what it culminated into. Now, when he's talking about how it was passed down from mother to daughter, you'll actually see that in ancient Kemet and chematology, which is ancient Egypt. You'll actually see that the one who it was passed down to, even the knowledge of all the tribes, and that was actually passed down from mother to daughter in their tribe, in their goddess worship, and it's older than Egypt itself. So it's called chematology. And we're talking about, like, the mother was like the Sibyl, the Kume Sibyl, that prophesied basically in effect for Apollo in the oracles of Delphi and stuff too. That it was always a female prophet, a prophetess, that would receive those visions. And you'll see that in Nazi Germany too. The women with long hair, they were the prophets. They were the ones getting the messages from the quote-unquote gods. The divine feminine is nothing more than to feminize a culture and get it complacent to where it accepts her as a guide, and then the masculine comes in to rule. It always leads to a masculine ruling. That's why they talk about the sun god. That's what that's about. Virgin, mother, counselor to the wise warrior, the sun god. After settling in this agrarian region, the children of the sun began slowly but surely to blend into the local society. After some time, the mother's importance as a shaman diminished. She had led them to this region where the tribe elected to stay, and in doing so rendered her visions unnecessary. The children's cultural identity remained strong, though, and the mother became a spiritual leader like a high priestess. This reverence did not extend to the locals who predated the children's arrival. They saw her as more of a witch, a hag, and a crone. The old haggerty bitch. If you'll pardon my French. Go ahead and get this open. I may have to come back through it. So yeah, this guy Attila here, who's the third guy left from the Faceless, who was a big guy in the cult of the mother, we're reading his notes. We're reading what he found. I'll take his wallet, sure. Why not? Help myself to that. Why not? Why not? Okay, we got a buggy recall and a bag and stuff. I thought I remembered this being a safe house of sorts, but I don't think that there's ever a dealer here. Function of the Mother 3. As years pass, the tradition of the Mother and her visions weakened further. That being said, to this very day, the respect shown to the Mother is quite significant, and whoever holds the title still commands a certain quality of mystery. Once the outbreak started, her old position as a spiritual leader came back in full force. It remains to be seen how political this leadership will become. Like I told you, the politics of it. When the government fell apart due to the virus, they wanted a political power structure, so they went back to the religion. They went back to the cult religion that actually that preceded the government of the island, because they're the ones that took over. That's why the natives don't like them. Remember, they were a quote-unquote nomadic tribe, a traveling tribe that decided on a prophecy to settle here in the 13th century. So they've been here since the 1200s. And they did not come from here, and they can't trace where they came from because they assimilated the language. They took over the language of the natives. So there's no tracing them linguistically. Basically, there's no way to trace them at all, is what they're saying. They got no idea who the hell they are. And that's by design. It's a cult as old as time itself, pretty much. You'll find it everywhere, with no exceptions. The Cult of the Sun, Sky, and Wind, number 2. Various rituals mentioning the trinity of sun, heaven, and wind made their way into the Children of the Sun tradition. Remember, I told you about the Trinity. That's following the Mother Goddess worship. This is just another way of spinning it. The greatest example is the burial custom, which, to my surprise, has remained largely unaltered since at least the 12th century. Instead of burying their dead or burning their corpses, the children left the dead out in the open so they could receive the mercy of the sun and wind. In ceremonial robes, sometimes mass, the corpse waited for heaven to take them. As the corpse decomposed, scavenging birds, seen as symbols of heaven's mercy as the messengers of the wind, took what belonged to them and returned the dead to the sun. There's a word for that, and I can't remember what it is, but you'll see that in, that's old Indo-Iranian. It's Proto-Iranian worship. That's a cult. I can't remember the name of it right now, and there's a name for that. When they give them over to the birds, they let the birds scavenge them. So whoever wrote this story absolutely understands that, religion dating back at least 12,000 years. And this is as old as time itself. I can't remember the name. I gotta take my jacket off, excuse me. I cannot remember the name of that practice of giving your dead over to the birds to be scavenged. And I can't remember the name of that group. It'll come to me. That it's Proto-Iranian. It's old Iranian. It's straight back to Babylon is what it is. But that's a closely guarded secret. All that stuff's just coming out in the mainstream now. Though they've known it for thousands of years, they wouldn't let the mouth breathers know. It was considered sacred. And you're considered, it's the difference between the sacred and the profane. They're considered sacred. They're allowed to have the knowledge. You're considered profane, and it's disrespecting their religion to talk about it openly to let the mouth breathers know what they believe. That's why it's hidden. That's why they assimilated into this culture.
Have you come to kill me? Fine. Go ahead.
I'll have a look around here first. A couple questions for you, buddy. All right, Cult of the Sun, Sky, and Wind, Part 1. The ancestors of the children of the sun were a hunter-gatherer tribe, and as such they interpreted the forces of nature as heavenly power. They prayed mostly to the only constant they saw during their journeys, the sun. The house of their god is seen as a sacred extension of heaven itself, and the messenger of heaven was the wind. The god of the sun. This is what it's all about right here. About this god of the sun incarnating into human flesh. God becomes man. The most fascinating legend held in high regard by the children is that the god of the sun, a messianic figure who is supposed to appear on earth in the wake of a catastrophic plague. According to the legend, the god of the sun will descend from heaven in order to purge the earth of the plague's poison. The one destined to bring the god of the sun to earth will, of course, be the mother. Remember, I told you, the mother is introducing you. She comes in and feminizes, and you follow her. She's going to feminize the male hierarchy on the earth to get them ready to where they'll accept a totalitarian male figure. That's what it's all about. Mama's getting you ready to feed you something. She's going to feed you a heaping helping of this God's bullshit. That's what it's all about. She prepares you to receive the male figure, the male spirit, the dominating male spirit. Suppression is what it's all about. All right, I'll be back in 30. Give me 1 second here. Okay, that sky burial, it's called sky burial, it's called excarnation. An excarnation means birds scattered. That the birds would scatter your bones back into nature. It's called excarnation, okay? That's what I was talking about. It's from Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is older than Iran. It's Proto-Iranian, all right? It's before the Iranians we know today. We're talking about the oldest religion on earth, what we're talking about here. I just read y'all the notes. That's what this guy's talking about, this game designer. That's how creative these people were when they made this game. They're letting you know in real life. You know, they're letting you know what you're seeing in the real world. Zoroastrianism is where it's from. It's called excarnation. When they were giving the bodies of their dead over to the elements, so to speak, they would bury them out in an open place. They would actually bury them up high. They'd be like 7 or 8 or 10 feet or however high. They would bury them up there. They would build a platform to set them on and just give them over to the elements, like they said, to the wind and ravenous, not ravenous, but I can't remember what they call vulture-type birds would come and pick the bones apart. Like, have you ever heard a crow, people say a bone to pick or a crow to pick? That's actually a crow to pull, and what they're talking about is saying, when somebody says, I got a crow to pull with you, they're saying they're bringing up something old and they're digging up old bones and pulling some meat off of it because they're still not satisfied that it's buried, dead, and gone. They still got an issue. They take issue with something still of an old thing that happened. They want to bring it back into the light and bring up another issue that they still didn't get closure on. That's what a crow to pull means.
Have you come to kill me? Fine. Go ahead.
My name's Kyle
Don't
Crane.
tempt
the
me,
mother's
buddy.
worried about you, Attila. She sent me to check on you. Make sure you're okay.
I am most certainly not okay. You can tell her that there will be no book. I've hit a wall. I'm just a dying old man, not Indiana Jones.
Dying? Did you ask the mother for help?
She doesn't have the cure for cancer, I'm afraid. My days of field work are over. The problem is, and I'll quote Hamlet here, everything is fucked up. Come, sit. Have a drink with me, Mr. Crane.
Listen, if it's the field work that's stopping you, I can go out and get whatever you need. I don't know what you're researching, but the mother really wants it finished.
You'll bring me anything I need, you say?
Yeah, sure, just make a list.
It would certainly help if my electricity were restored. If I'm going to do this, I'll be looking at some very long nights.
Well, I can take care of the power, but you're on your own for coffee.
Yeah, I'm not sharing my coffee with you, you son of a bitch. Don't get any ideas. That's all for me. I need that. Agreed. I like his Hamlet quote there. Everything's fucked up. Sounds legit to me. I find that totally believable. Absolutely. And relatable. I find it relatable. I think we found all the notes. Look, I'm not going to keep bloviating about this, so I think we found all the notes. I'm confident that I'll take one last look around, make sure I found everything, but I think that that's going to round it out for the crash course in politics and religion that I told you you were going to get before we even started the following, and why I find this game so enchanting, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's right in front of your face, people. Right in front of your face. They did a great job. I think they did a really good job in making this game, and it was very creative, and I love the subject matter and everything they decided to tell in the zombie story. Like, the undead and zombies is age-old, too, you know. Man's always had an obsession with living and dying, you know, living forever. If you lived forever, what kind of shape would, you know, what would living forever look like, you know? Anyways, on with the game, onward and upward. I don't feel warmed up yet, so if I die a couple times, cut me some slack here. We'll see how it goes. I believe there's another way out, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if I can find that other door I'm talking about. Let the sun shine in, buddy. This place is darker than hell. Alright, I guess I'm mistaken on that, so we're just going to go out this door. I'll find it when I need it. He's got an extra door laying there. I wonder where that goes. Did I miss something? Was there a door taken off its frame? Yep, right there. Okay, what's that? Makes you wonder why that was here, doesn't it? Makes me wonder. I think about weird shit like that all the time. You know, that blood coming from. This guy's a weirdo. You don't want to turn your back on a son of a bitch like this, people. You keep him in front of you. You're walking somewhere, make sure you're behind him. Don't ever let somebody follow you through a door. Let them go first. And that's all I got to say about that. Alright, we're just having a nice chill time. We're not worried about that drop right now. Just gonna have a quick nosy. Make sure we're sucking all this in.
Anybody hear me? I'm alone in my hunting stand and there's a sea
we'll
of
go help that
under me.
fella.
I'm not gonna make it.
I can see that hunting stand from here. I can't. And I want those survivor points though. Well, let's try to make it over there. My car's going to be over in flipping BFE because they spawned me over here. Look at this son of a bitch. And they want me to fight this asshole. Fuck you, you son of a bitch. We'll get there. I'll be right back. It wouldn't help me to find a safe house to call my buggy in too, but I guess I'll just have to wait till I fix that. I'm thinking these survivor points over here might re me up. I want to flip. Alright, now which one of them wants a piece first? Come on, suit and tie guy, let's go. Okay. No. I missed him. There we go. Put in that good work. That's what I like to see. How you like them apples, bitch? Thought you was a select man. I hear a spit or a toad. Hopefully he can't see us from over here. Yeah, buddy, you're safe. Chill out, bro.
Thanks, stranger. If you hadn't shown up, I would have died.
You might die anyways, fella. Hate to break it to you. Yeah, you and your god of the sun. Blah, blah, blah. You say words. Thanks for the trophy, though.
This isn't
I'll
much,
take that, Titan.
but I want you to have.
Yeah, we need to go to a safe house and get my buggy and get my bearings here. That's the closest one. Fuck, I might end up dead before I get there. Well, I don't like it, but that's just the way it's gonna be, because I've got to go get my stuff taken care of. Let me see how many, if I don't get attacked here, I want to see how many disaster relief packs we got. We have 0, so that sucks. We definitely don't. Man, look at that hot mess. That's a roadkill dream right there, man. I'm gonna have to drive my buggy through here.